Hello all and welcome back to another last Epoch build. Bobo here, and today I have a really great build for you. But before I start, I want to thank everyone for commenting and liking, and a special thanks to those who subscribe for helping me grow my channel. Thanks a lot. Now, on with the build. We have a mage, a spell slinger, no wait, a spellblade, sorry, and we're running the Shatter strike build. As you see, the damage is stupid. It's just stupid. Basically how the build works, we have our Firebrand, which as you see here, down here it's adding the stacks, and then when we use another ability that's not Firebrand, it will deal 20% damage per stack and always crit if we have at least 3 stacks, so 3 stacks always crit. Shatter strike, which hits 3 times, deals incredible massive damage. I'll just show you on the boss here. There's the boss. I don't want my things to fall. Proc all cooldowns, and he's dead. That's it. Okay, on to the build. But before I talk about the build, you need to think as this build as a resource gatherer and then a spender. So we keep gathering resources, we proc them as much as we can, and then we use all our cooldowns and spend it all at once. And as you see, you deal stupid amount of damage. So let's talk about the skills. We're running Shatter strike, enchant weapon, flame ward, firebrand, and teleport. Mana. For Shatter strike, we want to get the recast twice. So we go into increased global cold damage, 1 point into 10 damage 10 area, and 2 for the recast. The recast count as one ability, so we just want to do as much damage as possible in one attack. So that's 2 recast, that counts as 1. Then we get more area, cold penetration. We get crit multiplier per sword. We're running 2 swords, so that's 240 crit multiplier. We want 30 damage. And although we lose the attack speed, we don't care, because we are only using Shatter Strike once. After we get the procs with the Firebrand, we use Shatter Strike once. The second strike is not gonna do nearly as much damage as the first one. And then we get Cold Presence. The last 2 points are going into Cold Presence, so I'll deal 100% damage to enemy above high health, which is 65%. So basically you go on an enemy, hit him with Firebrand until you have 6 stacks, and then you cast the Shattering Strike. The second one, as you see, it doesn't deal nearly as much damage, because the Firebrand procs is what's giving it a lot of damage. And of course the Enchant Weapon, Flame Ward, and Teleport are giving him stats, but let me show you. The Enchant Weapon, it's we moved for the duration to make it last longer, because it helps with Firebrand damage as well. When I hit the enchant weapon, Firebrand basically deals double damage. We get less mana cost, but we don't care about the mana cost. We just want that 40% increased melee damage for the burst. We get 1 frozen spark, so our melee damage is converted into... It's not converted, it's added in the form of lightning and cold. We get some melee chill chance, this is just for movement, and we get 5 points and added cold damage for the plus 25 cold damage, and 100% increased melee cold damage. And then we get some attack speed. This doesn't really do anything for the Shatter Strike, because again we just want to cast it once, but it helps proccing the Firebrand faster. The faster I get the stacks up, the faster I can Shatter Strike. The last 2 points obviously go in celerity for the melee attack speed, just to proc the Firebrand faster. The faster it goes, the faster I can Shatter Strike. It's really an amazing build, guys. Flame Ward, people have a tendency to change Flame Ward as they see fit. What you really want is the increased duration and the 250% increased fire damage, which we're gonna turn into cold with Frost Ward. The remaining points, I took them defensively. I took 1 point in more ward, because I don't really care about the ward. I just want the 5 out of 5 and less hit damage. This is 40% reduced damage. And then I took 2 points here. I'm gonna add another one for the elemental damage reduced by 30%. Last point, you can basically put it wherever you want. I'll just put it in some more word, not because I need it. I passively generate a little bit of word, but it's yeah, it's some more word. Firebrand, this is what's making this build possible. Basically I get 32 ward per hit. This is to get more defensive. It is not required. The points are gonna be split. The last points are gonna be split between ward gain on hit and damage on hit. You can decide where to put the last points. What's important, you want the stack refreshed. So if I'm hitting, the stacks are running out of time, but if I hit again, they refresh all of them. They count as one stack. It doesn't, if I didn't have that stack, the first 3 would still have fallen by then. So you want the stack refreshed. You want the attack speed per stack, so you cast your Firebrand faster. The faster you cast Firebrand, the faster you can Shatter Strike and kill everything. We get 2 more stacks of Wildfire, the maximum stack, so we can stack it up to 6 times. We get your next attack deals 20% extra damage per stack, so 6 stacks, 120% extra damage, and we're guaranteed crit strike with 3 or more stacks. So I have 6 stacks. You can just do it 3 times and Shatter Strike. You're still gonna crit. Obviously you're not gonna do as much damage, but it's still a lot of damage. And then finally you get Teleport. We want the increased elemental damage by 50% with Teleport. It's not too much, but it's more increased elemental damage. I took some points in resistances here to summon my clones. So I get some clones, they take a little bit of tanking off of me. And then last points go into ward. The last 2 points I'm gonna put 1 more ward and 1 in ward per point of intellect. We don't have that much intellect, but it's quite nice. Okay, so talent tree. You go with mage. I went for some health and mana, intelligence, and increased attack speed. The crit here is not needed. Some of the builds I saw, because I always do some research before when I'm doing a certain type of build, get this ability. I don't think it's worth 10 points to get 30% crits multiplier. I really don't think it's worth it. Then you go Spellblade. You want the cold damage from melee attack plus 16 base. That's really good. You can get frozen steel as well. It's really good. You want arcane shielding. This one gives you minus 10% damage taken when you have it. So when I have this shield, it gives me minus 10. But then I get Shattered Ages, which reduces its power by 60%, but I can stack 4 times. So damage taken by 10 is reduced to 4, and then 4 times 5, no wait, 4, right? Yeah, 4 times 4 is 16, so I get 16% reduced damage, and it stacks really quickly. So you only really need 1 point in it. I saw people taking all the 5 points. You don't need 5 points in this. You don't really care about the armor. You're not gonna have much armor anyway, so it's not worth it wasting 4 points in there just to get a little bit more armor. You want the vitality. It's really good. That melee fire damage is fine. We're still gonna get, that's base damage, so we're still gonna get something off of it. We want the health and chance to gain mana. This is basically so that our Firebrand, as we're hitting, we're gonna get mana from it. You don't really need a lot of mana because enchant weapon is free, Firebrand is free. This is basically your bread and butter. You go around, enchant weapon, Firebrand, and then you Shatter Strike when a bunch of mobs are around. That's basically how you play this build. You want the Gemini, so you can equip 2 swords. And then the last points go melee cold damage, dexterity, which gives us cold damage, and cold damage from cold melee attacks plus 8. This is really good. We get extra 150% damage on high melee cost. We only use Shatter Strike as a high melee cost weapon. attack, so that's 150 more damage on Shatter Strike. I started getting Blade Weaver, which as we're using the Firebrand, as you see, we're getting this stack. It gives us damage. Basically, in the end, it will give us another 150 damage if we have 10 stacks. So when we use Shatter Strike, it will deal a lot more damage. I stopped getting this right now. I went for the intellect and word per second, and I'm gonna get the word per second per intellect to have some more survivability, because you're really fine on damage. I'm still very low level, 68, so there's quite a lot of points to spread around. You will want to max your intellect and your mental fortitude. You'll want your prodigy. You'll want to get some more finish the elemental affinity up, and then I know there was something else that gave cold damage. Yeah, the frozen steel, and this one, the essence duel. Basically, you just want ward, intelligence, and damage. If you want to spec the tree in another way, you could go into sorcerer. You could go for the not spell damage, not spell crit, so the only option is mana and armor. But eventually you'll want this, the cold damage leeched. I really don't think it's worth it, because you're still gonna leech some health from your gear. The cold penetration is nice though. For gear, you want the shattered, the shard of the shattered lens. You get the shard of a shattered lens. It's a 50% drop from the stolen lens quest. So you do this all the way up, and you kill the final boss. It's a 50% drop. Either you get the lens or you get the fragment of the shattered lens, the relic. They are not mandatory for the build, though the damage difference is really huge. If you don't have the shattered lens, a good replacement is the crystal sword of hunger. I mean the crystal sword, sorry. This one isn't enchanted. I was gathering it, but I got it pretty much at level 67, so I didn't bother forging it, because I was gonna replace it right after. And I was using these two blades before. The damage is still good enough, because your Shatter Strike deals stupid amount of damage anyway. I'll quickly show you. Oops. I'll quickly show you what I mean. Like, it's the difference of damage is huge, but that's still enough damage to go through the contact. I'm deathless on this character, and that wasn't from lack of trying, because I played really aggressively. You want the helmet. This helmet, the Bone Claimer Bar Boot, I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but it basically gives us everything we want. We want dexterity, because dexterity gives us attack damage on Shatter Strike. We want intelligence for the ward, some resistances, ward per second is really nice, and some armor. It's really, really nice. Basically, this is like half of my armor right there. Shatter Strike, if you hit alt here, you will see that it gains melee cold damage from dexterity. That's base damage. So that's really, really good, because then you get all the plus percentage on top of it. It piles up a lot. Necklace, I went for the bone amulet. They're really nice for the resistances. You want elemental damage, crit multi, or cold damage. I will put a link in the description with all the gear in order of priority, like what you want on your gear. But basically it's cold damage, cold base damage, crit multiplier, elemental damage, anything goes. For rings, I went one elemental ring and one for the vitality ring. But basically it's the same. You want dexterity, you want elemental damage or cold damage, you want health. Elemental damage gives you a little bit less than cold damage. You get the percentages run higher with cold damage, but elemental damage helps your Firebrand also for the clear. Like the little mobs, you can just clear them with the Firebrand. You don't have to Shatter Strike all of them to make it a little bit quicker. Belt, still a work in progress, but this is basically the stats you want. It's cold damage, health. Anywhere you want is just damage and health on this build. Vitality, and sort out your resistances. and dexterity. For the idols, I only went health. Health and some resistances. They are all health and resistances, really. And that's the build. It's really good build. I played it only to make a video on it. I didn't know I was gonna love it so much. It's a really good build. It's really fun. You're moving all the time. You have to dodge and weave in attacks. It's really fun. I've been playing the minion build, so basically they are a lot more passive than this one. This one you have to move a lot, and it's really fun. Try it out. I highly recommend this build. Thanks a lot for watching. If you made it this far, thank you for staying with me through all the duration. Special thanks goes to you. And please like and subscribe. Help me grow this channel. Let's build a community together. Thank you a lot and see you next time. Bye.